Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Mr. Saucedo's YouTube videos. Today we're going to be talking about dihybrid Punnett square crosses. So, last time we did monohybrid, where we had 4 possibilities. This is an honors class, so obviously you probably assumed that we were going to be doing something a little bit more difficult. So we're going to do dihybrid crosses, where we're looking at 2 traits. And yes, you can probably guess there are ones for 3 traits and 4 traits, and it gets ridiculous when you start adding more and more traits together. But we're going to do this with 16 windows in our Punnett square then, okay? And that means that these are what our genotypes for our parents are going to end up looking like. So we're going to have trait R and trait Y, let's say. And so let's say that parent 1 is heterozygous for trait R and heterozygous for trait Y. And I'm going to be crossing them with someone who is homozygous recessive for trait R and heterozygous for trait Y. So we need to disassemble, I guess that would probably be the best way of saying it, or disassort maybe, I don't even know if that's a word, all of the possible allele combinations. So we're going to take parent 1 and we're going to write down the 4 possibilities of crossing, or crossing, I guess I shouldn't say that yet, of combining together what letters we have here, okay? And so I'm just going to tell you the way I always do it, okay? So capital letter R could be paired with capital letter Y. That's one possibility. Capital letter R could be paired with lowercase letter y. That's a possibility. Lowercase letter r could be paired with capital Y, or lowercase r could be paired with lowercase y. And that gives us one parent's disassembled alleles. Okay, what about the other parent? All right, so this parent we're going to write up and down on the left side, just like we did previously for our monohybrid crosses. So we have, again, lowercase r, capital Y. That's a possibility. Lowercase r, lowercase y. Lowercase r, uppercase y. Lowercase r, lowercase y. And now that gives us all of the possibilities. Okay, so here's just kind of like so now we pair them up, just like we did previously. But I'm going to tell you a little trick that might make things easier for you in the long run. So remember, we always want to pair up the letters that are the same. So instead of writing like capital R, capital Y, lowercase r, capital Y, we kind of want to pair them up so that they're together. So this is how I would write, this first one is I would, pair up the R's together and then pair up the Y's. And then I could do that for the next one. And I could do it for the next one and the next one. And I could keep filling them in as I go, like this. And again, try doing this on your own before you take a look at all of the ones that have been done out right now in all 16 of these window panes. Now, this is where it gets a lot more complicated. So now I'm gonna actually tell you what R and Y stand for. Let's say that R is we're talking about pea plants here, so we're looking at the seeds, and we're looking at whether they're round or wrinkled, and then Y is whether they're yellow or they're green, okay? So now what we wanna do is we wanna come up with what are the different possibilities here? We wanna look at the genotypes, okay? And there's 16, so we're gonna be counting how many windows there are out of 16 and figuring out our percents. So let's start with this one here, okay? Well, 12.5% of them, of the children in this dihybrid cross look exactly like this genotype. You can see we have one here, we have one here, and that looks like about it, okay? This is a lot more common though. So we have one here, we have one here, we have one here, one over here. So that's a lot more common. That's 25%. That's 4 out of the 16. Okay, 12.5, 12.5. Again, you can go through all of these. So we have one here, we have one here. That's it for this one. For lowercase capital, so we have one here and one here. That's 12.5%. Again, this one's a lot more common. So we have 4 examples of that. And then to have doubly recessive, homozygous recessive ones, we only have 2 out of 12, which is 12.5%. So you want to be very careful counting so that you don't accidentally make a mistake. That's one of the easiest things to do when you're doing a dihybrid cross. And now what about the phenotypes? The phenotypes, 37.5% are going to be round and yellow. See if you can figure out which ones would be round and yellow. And again, I like to color code. These would be our round and yellow traits. Or children, not traits. And so notice that these ones have at least one copy of the capital of each of the capital letters. That's the reason why. All right, what about wrinkle in yellow? Well, or sorry, I guess that one isn't wrinkled in yellow. That's wrinkled in yellow. There we go. So wrinkled in yellow, again, look, wow, that's a whole lot of them. You've got, you're recessive for the first one, but you're dominant. You have at least one capital letter for our second trait. And then obviously, here we go. For the ones that are less, round in green and wrinkled in green, these two are wrinkled in green. These two are round in green. All right. And that's how you do a dihybrid cross. Okay. So go back, watch it again if you need to. And then if you have any questions, let me know.